This is Jill Simonello with Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and today we are in sunny and warm California checking out the Lexus RZ 450e. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to give you a quick walk around of this new SUV, and we will look at the interior, the exterior, and yeah, we're going to dig into some driving impressions because there's some really interesting stuff on this, including a yoke that they don't want me to call a yoke. So stay tuned and let's take a closer look right now. All right, let's just jump right into the Lexus RZ 450e with a quick exterior walk around. So yeah, you will notice the little bit of the pinch-nosed grille, but because electric vehicle, it doesn't actually have a grill. What they did do to kind of keep the Lexus theme going is they've added in this like spindly looking texture that kind of feeds into the headlight treatment. So not necessarily a full grille or the full spindle grille you're used to seeing on the Lexus, but it does look similar, and I think they've done a really good job of keeping this in the Lexus family. Now, because this is based on the BZ4X Toyota vehicle, you're going to notice that, yeah, the side profile does look pretty similar to its Toyota sibling. It's got the same long shape, fluting roofline, and yeah, there's definitely some similarities there, but it's got a little bit more of a pinch nose. And when you move around to the back here, you see a lot more of the Lexus styling. So you've got the long light bar that goes around here, and then you have the new trend that Lexus is going with the Lexus spelled out lettering here on the back. I will point out this specific vehicle starts at about $58,000, but it tops out just over $62,000 with options. We'll look at the spec sheet a little bit once we pop inside, which, hey, why don't we do that right now? And I will point out as I open the door, this does have the Lexus, the new Lexus like little touchpad back here. So you just kind of put your finger underneath the door handle and the door will open. All right, now that we are inside the vehicle, let's power it up. And I will point out this is the top tier luxury trim. So there are some features on here that will not be available on the base premium trim, and I will try to point those out when we come across them. So let's just start with our interior tour of these two screens here. So you have a digital screen behind the wheel, and then you have a 14-inch, this is going to be standard screen on both vehicles for the infotainment system. Now, the digital screen is not really configurable. Essentially, what you see is what you get. You can hit this button here, and there's a head-up display there that will show you some options of what you can do for the display, but I'll be honest with you, it's essentially just changing out what you see in the center of that circle. However, I will point out, if you come over here and you go into vehicle and you go to drive modes, so you've got 5 different drive modes here, and right now we are on normal, so let's see if I can do this. So as you change your drive mode, you get a little bit of a change for the circle back here. So, and then you can customize it, but we've been in normal most of the time, and as you can see, yeah. So you can't really customize this digital display, but I really like this large 14-inch screen. It has the updated Lexus infotainment system to it, so you know it's really voice operated, a voice operated system. They want you to say things like, "Hey Lexus,
what do you want to do?
I'm cold."
Setting the driver's temperature to 75 degrees.
So it warms it up a couple of degrees. But you can ask it, you know, for your directions, and you can even have it tell you a joke. But so that's just a look at this. All of this is going to be standard, and you have a volume knob, you have some tuning knobs for your HVAC, but when you go into your audio controls here, yeah, you're gonna have to be using the screen. And I mean, it's not horrible because you can kind of swipe through things like that, but volume knob, thumbs up. All right, because this is the luxury trim, one of the things that you will notice on this is that it has kind of an ultra suede material for the seating surfaces, and this is not animal derived. There is no leather on the RZ. They have made this vehicle completely vegan. So this ultra suede is vegan, and then they have a new luxe or a leatherette material on the premium trim that is also going to be vegan. So that is going to be standard on both trims. While we are facing this direction, let's talk about the gear shift a little bit. So this is very similar to the gear shift we saw on the BZ4X, except that it has some nice little textured pieces here, and I don't know, I think it looks a little bit nicer. But if you're not familiar with this gear shift, let's just talk about the operation really quick. So in order to put it into neutral, you push that outer ring down, and in order to put it into drive or reverse, you push down and move to the right, push down, move to the left. And then to put it into park, you just hit the P button. So that pretty simple, intuitive operation. Once you get beyond the fact that it says push and you're like, what are you supposed to push? This. You're supposed to push the outer ring. Now this vehicle doesn't have it, but another option that you will see on some of the RZ vehicles is going to be a rear camera mirror. And essentially what that does is it gives you this thing that you push right here, and it turns this into a digital display. But on this vehicle here, I just have the plain rear view. And I will say that your view is okay. This isn't like terribly stunted, but the rear camera mirror gives you a really good view, especially if you have people sitting in your back seat, so that you can see around them, over them, all of that good stuff. So that's an option, not on this vehicle. So on the luxury models, there is this button right here that you press, and again, you can't see anything about there. Press the button. Boop. Look, there's life outside the vehicle. I can see this being entertaining for hours for children. Thank goodness this button is not in the back seat. So when we are looking at some of these buttons down here and what's going on, I will point out that this is a wireless system. So wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Then you have wireless charging right here, but you do have some USB-C charge ports. There is not a single USB-A charge port in here that I found. So USB-C charge port. And then you've got some buttons here where this is just going to be your around view camera. So if you are sitting in park like I am right now, you can hit the button and it'll just show you what is around the vehicle. And yes, I parked like this on purpose because there's shade here. So you can see a really good view of the vehicle, but obviously if you put the vehicle in reverse, you're also going to get this camera to pop up. This button right here is the advanced park system, and yeah, when we're done doing the walk around, I'll show you what that does. One of the coolest features on the RZ is going to be the radiant heat. And you will notice there is not a glove box here, and that is because they have essentially put a radiator right here underneath this the dash portion, and you'll see the same mesh underneath the steering wheel here. But the idea is that if you have your heat on, so 75, that's not heat. If I had the heat turned on, and I did earlier, because even though it's sunny now, it was cold and windy earlier. I mean, it's still windy, but it's just not as cold. But this basically sends heat down to warm your feet. It's more efficient, and frankly, it's warmer because it's hitting you right where the cold seeps in. So I think that this is, I mean, it looks like a nice design feature because of the texture, but it's actually functional because that is where the radiant heat comes out. And I will point out, you do still have your regular HVAC controls because it comes out of, the air can come out of here, but the radiant heat just kind of warms you up a lot faster. That combined with the heated seats and heated steering wheel, very good, thumbs up. Very much appreciated that when it was raining earlier today. Let's climb into the back seat really quick and check that out. As we exit the vehicle, the one thing I do want to point out is this does have the new digital release latch, and you just press that button and it opens the door. Similarly, you have the touchpad here that you can open just with the press of your hand. All right, so stepping into the back seat here, you've got this ultra suede material again. You have the pull down here with cup holders and prongy things. I like that. And then we'll look at this. Okay, so you have heated seats and you have USB-C charge ports. You do not have climate controls. I think that's a little bit of a miss. So this vehicle costs more than $60,000, and I just really think, and it's in the luxury realm, and I just think that any vehicle that's in the luxury realm should have HVAC controls back here as well, especially because Lexus has said that 4 people who are over 6 feet tall can actually fit in here. And yeah, my drive partner was 6'2", and I had him adjust the seat there and then sit there, and he did fit. So, yeah, you can actually keep passengers back here, so why wouldn't you want to make them comfortable? Okay, yeah, heated seats, but I want controls. I want to turn the heat on back here. You can't do that. Before we move on to taking a look at the premium trim and the luxury trim side by side and checking out that park assist function that I mentioned, let's take a quick look at the feature sheet for this specific vehicle right here. And yeah, you can see this is the luxury all-wheel drive model, and I will say all-wheel drive is standard on all of these vehicles, and as equipped, you're looking at $67,300, and you have a whole host of features here. So you're looking at between 308 and 313 horsepower, and that just depends on how you want to convert it from kilowatts. And this specific vehicle, because it's the up-level trim with the 20-inch wheels, has 196 miles of range. With 18-inch wheels, you're looking at 220 miles of range. So you're going to have some features on here that aren't on the premium trim. Like I mentioned, the ultra suede materials are unique to this specific vehicle. And that dynamic sky panorama glass roof with the opacity change, that is unique to this vehicle. And some of the safety features are also going to be unique here, including the traffic jam assist. So coming over here, you're gonna see the options that we have on here. So it's not a lot of options, frankly. It's base price for the up level trim is $64,000, and then we just added about $3,300 in options, and there you go, as equipped. So yeah, let's take a look at the two vehicles side by side. Now, since I've already done a more in-depth walk around, I don't want to spend a lot of time here on looking at these two vehicles, but here we have a luxury version and a premium version. So a base model and an up-level model. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about how you can tell the difference between these two vehicles, because there are two really big ways that you can tell a difference. And the first first one is going to be this right here, and that is the wheels. These are 18-inch wheels, and you can look at the wheel covers. They're a little bit more basic, very aerodynamic, not very flashy. So from the exterior, this is going to be the biggest way that you can tell this is a base premium trim. Now when you climb inside, the other way that you can tell is the fact that this is your leatherette material. This is the new Lex material. Really nice color combination here, but not the ultra suede material. This is going to be the leatherette, still vegan, but again, you'll notice you have the up-level 14-inch screen. That's standard. You've got your digital display. Everything else is going to look pretty similar except for this right here, which does not have the opacity that you saw in the luxury model that we were sitting in and looking at. So on the interior, it's going to be whether or not it has the ultra suede or the new luxe. And this right here actually is going to be another way that you can differentiate, because on the base premium trim, you only have the option to have a steering wheel. However, let's go over here and look at this up-level model right here. So, okay, stop, take a look at the wheels. These are very posh looking wheels. And then when you come here, same color, but this is the ultra suede material. And hey, look at that. This is the other thing that differentiates luxury and premium. Premium will not have the option to have the steer-by-wire, whereas this is going to be an up-level option on the luxury trim. Now, I should point out that this Yoke, this steer-by-wire system, is not available just yet. It's coming to the United States probably for 2024. They haven't priced it out, but they have said that it will be a priced option. So this will be on top of anything else that you're getting in the luxury trim. So again, you have the opaque roof option, the ultra suede, and the option to get the yoke in addition to the wheels on the luxury trim. Okay, before I get into driving impressions for the entire vehicle, Lexus has set up a handling course for the Yoke specifically, but don't call it a Yoke, they don't want you to do that. This is the steer-by-wire technology, and the steer-by-wire technology only has this Yoke. Now, the really interesting thing you'll see as I'm driving through the course is the fact that a full lock is this. So you are never going to turn the wheel any more than this. And the slower you are, the less turning of the wheel that you need to do. So we're going through, it's like a little bit of a slalom, then at the end there's like a hard U-turn, and it's interesting. And I'm a 9 and 3 driver, so I'm gonna tell you right now, this isn't uncomfortable. And I really like all of this. So, all right, let's go on the handling course and see what this looks like. So, you know, you do like a little minute turn here, and you're just, like, I'm going 17 miles per hour. I'm not going super fast. And it just, you don't need a lot of movement to the steering wheel to get it to really move the vehicle. It's a little bit weird. So here's the hard turn. Whoop, hard turn, continuing the hard turn. And then just like this gentle slalom again. Let's go through that one more time. So here we are, rounding the corner. That was not a full lock. And going into the gentle slalom, again, I'm getting up to 19, 20 miles an hour. And then it's just a gentle turn of the wheel. That's a little harder turn. That was a full lock. And now here's the hard turn, complete lock right here through the gate. So what I want to say is that anybody who is a 9 and 3 driver, keeping your hands on the sides of the steering wheel, you're probably gonna like this a lot. I like this. But if you are one of those lazy drivers that puts your hand over the steering wheel, underneath the steering wheel, or you like to steer with your knee, you're probably not gonna like this. I find it interesting. I actually really like this, and I like the extra visibility that I get from not having a steering wheel blocking my gauges. Now, here's the interesting thing about this vehicle specifically. They've changed the gauge cluster and the position of the gauge cluster. They've moved it back a little bit, and they've changed some of the details because you have a yoke, not a wheel. So I like this. All right, I want to test the advanced parking system in the Lexus RZ, and I'm coming up on a spot right here. I see it, but here's the thing. Here's what you have to do. You have to stop the vehicle, press the button, and it recognizes, I don't want to do, so you have to select perpendicular, and then you have to hit the start button. It tells you to release the brake to move. So I'm releasing the brake. It's already got the spot. You can see it's doing these micro corrections. I'm not using my foot on the gas or the brake. I am not using the steering wheel, obviously. The vehicle is doing all of the steering and the maneuvering. Then it's gonna do, again, some micro corrections to get me into this spot. The spot was really large. I'd be very curious to see how it works in Chicago in much smaller spaces. And now it's gonna move me forward. So it shifts the gears as well as doing the steering and the braking, gas, all of those things. So checking the surroundings, backing up again, it's doing some micro correcting. All right, so the advanced park is finished. It's gonna show you an around view of where you are, and I'm gonna tell you, I can do a better job than this. I don't like the fact that you have to stop the vehicle in order for it to engage, and you pretty much have to be on top of the parking spot. A lot of systems will allow you to drive down the street, it'll measure and it'll say, yep, you can fit there. This one essentially wants you to stop in front of the spot, hit the button, then it'll do all the maneuvering. I like what it looks like, but I don't like how it operates. And the other thing I didn't like is, did you see how far away I was from the curb? Again, in Chicago, that would like lose you a side mirror. So I could do a better job than this. I didn't like the parallel parking feature at all, frankly. All right, I have found a fairly empty parking lot with only lane lines to guide you into the spot. And let's see how this advanced parking works like that. So pull out of a space here, and one thing that they did say is you have to be fairly close to the lines in order for this to pick it up. So I'm close on the right side to the parking spaces. So again, I have to stop to make this work. So stopped. I'm going to hit that. So it's checked for the parking spaces. It's found, 3 different parking spots right here. So I can select the one that I want, which is pretty cool. So, okay, it's gonna put me in that one there. Now, the other thing it will allow me to do is it will allow me to decide whether I want to pull into the spot or back into the spot. And that is new, that is cool. I really like that a lot. So why don't we try both? Why not both? Okay, so let's flip it. We'll pull into the spot first. So I'll hit the start button, and now it's telling me to release the brake to move it. So okay, that's interesting. It completely passed the spot. And now what it's doing is it's backing up to put me forward into the spot. Okay, so again, one of the things that I don't like about this system is this is moving a lot slower than I would move. In a place like Chicago, horns would already be honking. But it's moving the steering wheel, it's doing the braking, it's doing the shifting, it's doing, the gas pedal, it's doing all of those things. And it's perfectly lining me up, making some micro corrections to get me into the spot. All right. Advanced park finish, and then it's going to give me the around view, and it's showing me, yep, I am in the spot. All right, so I'm going to pull through, and we're going to do this again, and we're going to back in this time. All right, so I am again near these spots. You have to stop. Have I mentioned yet that I find that annoying that you have to stop to hit this button? It's annoying. So I'm stopped. It's given me a couple of space options. I'll go with this one again. It put the vehicle in the spot. This time we're going to back in. I love how it has the little grayed out image showing how it will look once it's in the spot. And now I'm gonna hit the start button. Releasing the brake. If there were other cars in the lot, the one thing that I do like is it's not getting me close enough to anything that could be a car, like it, you know, so it's not gonna hit anything. It's using the cameras and sensors to do all of this. Backing me into the spot. Advanced park finish, giving you the little looky-loo. And you will notice it also shifted it into park. All right, so I both like and I don't like this system. If you have a problem backing into a spot, if you have a problem parallel parking, this could be a lifesaver. But if you're in a city, if you're in a busy parking lot, people are gonna get pissed at you because this takes way too long. If you're in an empty parking lot, if you are on a sleepy street and you need to parallel park, it's gonna be fine. But in Chicago, those places don't really exist, and this won't do well in that environment, or at least you're gonna get honked at. So I don't know. My overall feelings about this system are, I could do this better myself. All right, I've now had the opportunity to drive the premium trim, the luxury trim, and the regular steering vehicle, as well as the steer-by-wire vehicle with the yoke that they don't want me to call a yoke, but I'm calling it a yoke. So I think I can give you some brief driving impressions, having driven pretty much the full gamut of what is available right now. And what I want to say is, initial impressions are incredibly favorable. I like how this vehicle drives. I like the comfort of the seats. I like the steering. I like the interior quietness. I like the features. In fact, I would tell you I'm really hard pressed in this quick first look to tell you something that I don't like. But if I had to tell you one thing, there's always one thing, right? If I had to tell you one thing, it would be the range. Max range on this vehicle is going to be 220 miles. And that is with the 18-inch wheels. If you opt for the luxury trim, which comes standard with 20-inch wheels, your range drops to 196 miles. That is not enough to get me from Chicago to Indianapolis. So I don't like that. From a petite driver's perspective, I see really well out of the front windows. My driving partner was 6'2", Harvey Briggs of Ride and Drives, and he said that he also had a really good driving position. And speaking of Harvey, I want to make sure that you check out Ride and Drives, because he did a video with me where we kind of talked back and forth about all of the features as well as driving impressions. So go to Ride and Drives. We'll link to that video up above. Go there and you can see a more in-depth discussion from both of our perspectives about the vehicle. But I digress. Okay, but go there. Go there. So, yeah, if I had to summarize this briefly in terms of driving impressions, I would say this is a really nice first try in the electric realm from Lexus. And even though this is built on the same platform as the Toyota BZ4X, it does not feel like the Toyota BZ4X. The BZ4X feels a little bit slow and sluggish, whereas this has more horsepower. It's between 303 and 308, I think 18 or 13 horsepower. It is peppy, and when you need that immediate acceleration, you got it. And you didn't get that on the BZ4X. So overall, really enjoying the RZ 450e. And if I could choose one thing to change, it would be the range. All right, that's it. That's my quick look at the Lexus RZ 450e. But before I sign off, I have one more feature that I want to show you, and it has to do with the trunk. And that is this right here, underfloor storage that I can almost fit in. I think this is really cool because you can hide a lot of stuff back here. But all right, that is what I have. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check us out on the web at pickuptrucktalk.com, and I will see you down the road, but probably not in the trunk.